Yo, what's going on YouTube? It's Cupid here with the final recap of the regular season of Cupid League Season 2. Now I know what you're probably thinking, Cupid, this is way late. Well, I'm gonna be real, life's gotten kind of busy. I'm doing what I can here, but I have to send this whenever I possibly can. So a lot of things kind of came apart at the very end for the last week of the regular season. We had essentially two matches where someone was just too busy to play, and of course Crystal Wolf dropped at the end of last week. So we only have 4 matches to watch, best of 3. No free agent moves happened that I remember. So there's not really anything to cover there either. But you know, we do have well, the end of the regular season and also the pairings for the playoffs. So this should be very, very interesting. Let's just go ahead and get straight into the replay. So first match played of the week is Mr. Titan T versus Fabled. So very good. We have a lead of the Primarina as Tinkaton could use Gigaton Hammer, which is very scary. Primarina is going to get out of there. Lucario is going to Sword Stance and miss the Stone Edge on the Gyarados, as you know, as Stone Edge typically does when you need it to hit. It's okay though, because now we're just going to go into our Thunderous and try and pick up a kill on the Gyarados. We failed to do that, and it seems we're locked in. Sorry, I'm yawning. And it seems we are locked into Thunderbolt as we switch out, but that's okay. Primarina comes in, uses Energy Ball, picks up the kill on Seismitoad. Heracross is going to come in to threaten that out. Heracross will Mega Evolve, and Bullet Seed does maybe enough to kill this thing. That crit helps, but not enough to kill the Swellow, even after Rock's damage. But it's okay, because Swellow can't really hurt Heracross back without dying. We go for Heat Wave and get a burn, which is so good for Mr. Titan T. And then we switch out our Swellow, which is really, really bad, considering it just dies to Rocks at this point. And, we have that transpire. Tinkaton's going to come in, Mamoswine's going to come in response to that, and go for Rock Slide, predicting the Gyarados. Very good prediction. Now we're going to get up our rocks, and Burn doesn't kill here, and after 2 waterfalls, the Burn will kill, but Mamoswine will also die in exchange. So now, there's not really a Pokemon here that beats Tinkaton, at least easily. So we're going to go into Haxorus, go for Earthquake. It doesn't kill. Play Rough doesn't kill back, because guess what? Tinkaton's attack is actually quite low. So now Haxorus is going to pick up the kill with a second Earthquake. Very, very good. And we are slower than Scarf Darmanitan, which uses U-Turn, brings in Doublade. Primarina or Thunderous here is probably fine. You should have probably just gone for an attack, though, instead of switching your Thunderous out and letting it die. So, Game 1's going to go to Fabled here. Game 1 goes to Fabled. Alright, so Game 2. What happens in Game 2? Well, I guess we will see, won't we? So we have Haxorus and Gyarados leads. Haxorus turn 1 goes for Dragon Dance, as Gyarados goes for Ice Fang, doing a little bit over half and getting a freeze, but luckily we have a Lumberry to save us from the absolute disaster that was freezing. Now we're going to go for Outrage, which doesn't work on Tinkaton, as Tinkaton's a fairy, and as a result of it not working on Tinkaton, guess what happens? We are not locked in, so now we can Earthquake. And after sacrificing our Scarf Darmanitan, yeah, now we're just going for Outrage, and Doublade easily survives this Outrage. I don't know why Fabled decided to switch to every Pokemon that wasn't Doublade, but hey, you know what? That's what happened there. We attack through confusion, and at this point, Mr. Titan T is going to go ahead and do his best to preserve the 6-0, switch into Mamoswine, which is faster than Doublade, and Earthquake picks up the kill. Time for Game 3. Alright, let's see what happens here. I may have put the match results in for this one backwards. I think I gave the match win to Mr. Titan T on accident. I'm not sure who won this game. but it's okay. Mamoswine's gonna miss a Stone Edge, or a Rock Slide, and then go for an Earthquake, and now Gyarados is going to Dragon Dance. Rock Slide is not going to pick up the kill. Waterfall brings us to our Sash. Do we miss again? We do miss again. Oh my gosh. Mr. Titan T is so unlucky. Alright, do we have Scarf Thunderous? No, we go into Primarina. Gyarados uses its Z move. This is going to kill at +2. And, we might have a sweep on our hands. Comfy's going to come in and not use a priority move and die. Well, that ain't good news for Mr. Titan T, is it? Well, that's definitely not good. You don't want to see that. Yeah, everything's dead at this point. Bad news, chat. Fabled gets the 6-0 in game 3, returning the favor to Mr. Titan T, and Fabled ends up picking up the match over Mr. Titan T in 10 turns, which is a very, very fast duel. It might even be duel? Very fast battle. It might have even been the fastest battle of the entire league. I'm not sure if there were any that were faster than 10 turns. I could be wrong, though. So, yeah, Mr. Titan T is defeated. But both of these two already had secured their spots in the playoffs, and basically the fighting was happening at the bottom of the thing. At the bottom of the playoffs. Here is the long-awaited match of Cupid versus Kiwi. So, I'm gonna be real. Nothing exciting happens, really. It goes as you probably would expect it to. It's not double 6-0. Kiwi actually does a good job of preventing the 6-0s. But we're gonna have Umbreon and Vaporeon sit on each other for a little bit. I'm just fishing for Scald Burns to reduce the attack of Foul Play. And you know, Vaporeon's Toxic Poisoned, very cool. And I don't really have a good switch into this thing, because if I switch in anything on Toxic, it's just bad for me. But luckily, it doesn't matter too much. Why doesn't it matter too much? Because I have Justified Absol, and at this point, I can Mega Evolve and click Swords Dance. Because Foul Play, I don't think kills me, and also Kiwi's gonna fall for my Magic Bounce tactics. So Absol is gonna probably just be able to attack Kiwi's whole team. I think. I might be wrong. Sylveon's gonna come in. I go for Close Combat. It does half. I should go for another one, but after Leftovers, I don't kill. And then I go for Play Rough because, you know, Play Rough would have killed after Close Combat did half. And then I miss because, you know, I'm Cupid and I have terrible RNG. But it's okay because Nihilego is gonna come in and pick up a kill, and I'm gonna preserve my Nihilego as Starmie's gonna go for Hydro Pump, healing up my Vaporeon. Now I'm gonna switch into Goodra because I know how Kiwi does things. This is Life Orb, and it's got Thunderbolt, and my Goodra has an Assault Vest, I think, so it's gonna take practically no damage, and then I'm gonna pick up the kill with Thunderbolt. Very strong. Goodra is not gonna survive Outrage, but I do actually bring the Gooey Goodra this time, which reduces the speed of the Flygon, and it's still faster than me, but it's okay because Vaporeon survives these hits very easily, and I have Ice Beam, specifically for the Flygon. And now Umbreon is back in, and this is going to just be more of us sitting on each other, and this is a Rest, Sleep, Talk Vaporeon with Scald and Ice Beam. I will win this eventually. I will win this eventually, chat. I promise. This will go very well for me. I'm gonna go for Scald because it does more damage. Yay. Yeah, my goal is to run Kiwi out of Wishes or have Kiwi switch. Either of those works. Toxic's never gonna work on me because I'm using Rest. So... you know, I'm gonna just continue clicking Scald, and Scald does over half to this Zebstrika as it finally comes in, and I get the burn, which is honestly a ridiculous amount of damage. This isn't even invested. Zebstrika is very, very weak Pokemon, but now all that's left is the Umbreon, and I can just, you know, I can do anything really here. But I'm gonna keep staying in on Vaporeon because it bullies Kiwi when I'm in on Vaporeon, because Kiwi really likes the Pokemon Vaporeon. And did you know that in terms of male human and female Pokemon breeding, that Vaporeon is the most compatible for males? Anyway, now I'm going to go into Indeedee and give this thing a choice specs, and at this point, this Umbreon can no longer switch moves, and I can just click Close Combat and kill it. And it doesn't have Leftovers Recovery anymore, and this burn will finish it off, and game 1 goes to me. Very, very cool. Game 2. I'm gonna be real, it's pretty much more of the same, except for this time I'm not sitting on Vaporeon, and I brought Roselia for fun. So I lead with Nihilego, and Kiwi tries to Toxic Poison my Nihilego. Now here's the problem with that. Nihilego is a poison type, it is immune to Toxic Poison. And I'm going to continue clicking attacks. I go for Dazzling Gleam, and now I'm going to go into Goodra because, you know, Assault Vest Goodra defeats this Starmie easily. Ice Beam does 26%, and I pick up the kill with Thunderbolt. Flygon's going to come in now. I sack the Goodra just like last game. And now I think I go into Roselia. And Roselia here has Hidden Power Ice and is physically defensive. And Hidden Power Ice doesn't even kill, which is alarming to me. I'm gonna be real, it was very surprising. I go for Giga Drain, predicting the switch, and also knowing that I survive, and Giga Drain kills anyway. So I go into Nihilego here, go for Power Gem. I pick up the kill on the Flygon, Zebstrika comes in. I decide to switch into Roselia, Thunderbolt does 15%, and I'm like, I probably live in Overheat, right? Well, it turns out, actually I don't. I don't actually survive Overheat, but that's okay, because now I have Absol. Absol's going to Mega Evolve and click Swords Dance, and I could click Knockoff here. I go for Play Rough, does 55%, meaning that in game 1, that would have killed. And at this point, I could lose this game, but I have Nihilego with Sludge Wave to pick up the kill on Sylveon. I get a Beast Boost. I'm going to Sludge Wave again because I am Choice Scarfed and faster than Flygon, and at +1 that kills. Umbreon's going to come in and survive, but go for Toxic, which also doesn't affect me because I'm a poison type. It did technically miss, but I'm not affected by it anyway. So, you know, Umbreon's going to die, and Nihilego is going to finish this game with a Choice Scarf Sludge Wave, giving me the 2-0 win over Kiwi. I bet you no one is surprised over this result. I have been kind of this just titan of a player this entire time, and Kiwi is like something like adorable, but you know, not threatening in any way. That's basically what happened there. So let's get the next match. This is Juvenile versus Antkiller. This one has very important implications for the playoffs. What's going on here is if Juvenile loses to Antkiller 2-0 and Bento Box beats Timberwolfie 2-0, Juvenile does not make the playoffs. So let's see what happens here. This is very important. All right, so Antkiller leads with the classic opener, Skarmory, as Cobalion comes in and uses Sacred Sword, does no damage. And then we're going to trade rocks. Skarmory's going to Brave Bird for basically 50%, which is an absurd amount of damage. Cobalion now goes for Volt Switch, getting out of there, going into Jolteon, as this thing's probably going to Brave Bird again. And honestly, that does way more than I thought it would. Jolteon goes for Yawn, which is a new Juvenile tactic, that's for sure. And instead of killing the Skarmory, we just lose our Jolteon. But it's okay, because Cobalion's going to come in now, pick up the kill with Sacred Sword. Incineroar is going to come in, intimidate us. We're going to go for Sacred Sword again, do 30%, and die to Flare Blitz. Now, at this point, if I'm Juvenile, I go into Landorus, and I click a ground move. But you know, Mantine is an obvious switch, so, you know, being that predictable is not exactly very good. Now we go into Scolipede, which has a balloon to be immune to Earthquake, and Mantine's gonna set up Rain Dance, and then have 100% accurate Hurricanes. Banette's gonna come in, probably click Thunder Wave. Juvenile is going to force Antkiller to switch into a Dark type, because being immune to Prankster is how you defeat Juvenile. And Incineroar is going to go for Knockoff, as this thing has Metronome, and now we go for Destiny Bond, and Knockoff kills us, so we take the Incineroar with us. Very good. Now we have Iron Jugulus behind Light Screen, which is actually, coincidentally, very, very good for Juvenile. We're going to go for Dark Pulse, and it does practically nothing to Rain Guy. We're going to go for Dark Pulse again. Do we get a flinch? Nope, we do not. But it's okay, because thanks to the Light Screen, this thing does no sorts of damage to us, and also, somehow it's still slower after the rain with Swift Swim in our Quark Drive. So we go for Dark Pulse, break the disguise. We do not flinch. Unlucky for Juvenile. Landorus has to come in and okay, crit Earthquake. We're off to a good start. How do we beat Diggersby though? Quick Attack. Okay, it does 41%. That's not very much, but it lives. And second Quick Attack is going to pick up the kill on Landorus. And the rabbit with arms for ears is able to clean out game 1 for Antkiller. Juvenile looking like he could possibly be removed from the whole tournament by losing this match. It comes down to, if Juvenile loses this game, Bento just has to win 2-0. Jolteon lead, uses Discharge turn 1 as rocks go up, and second Discharge will pick up the kill on Skarmory, and now Skarmory doesn't kill 2 Pokemon for free this time. Banette's going to come in on Diggersby as it uses Swords Dance, and if my name is Juvenile, I am absolutely terrified of this rabbit because it has Stab, Earthquake, and the ability Huge Power. But instead, we are going to switch into Incineroar as this thing goes for Destiny Bond. Probably a good play instead of losing the rabbit. Now we go for Knockoff as Cobaleon's Focus Sash comes in, triggering Justified, boosting its attack, but instead of actually going for a fighting move there, we decide to Volt Switch and sacrifice our Jolteon after seeing that Volt Switch was the incorrect click. And now Cobaleon's going to come back in, Close Combat's going to be used, dropping us to 5%. We're going to go for Sacred Sword, and at this point it doesn't kill, and Flare Blitz Recoil doesn't kill either. So now this thing's going to get off another attack probably. You don't want to see that. But it doesn't. Luckily, the Scolipede comes in with a balloon and gets a speed boost. Now, the Mantine defeats us easily, provided it hits that Hurricane, and it does. And if I'm Juvenile, I'm thinking it's Morbing time, which means Iron Jugulus is going to come in, use Dark Pulse. It's going to use Dark Pulse on Diggersby, trying to get a flinch. But instead, we don't have that. We go into Banette to be immune to Quick Attack, which is a fair play, but this thing's just going to click Earthquake every time. So now we go for Destiny Bond as this thing goes for Earthquake again, and we get rid of the Diggersby, but we have a problem, and that's this Mimikyu. This Mimikyu still has its disguise intact. We go for Dark Pulse, flopping it over, and Trick Room is set, and now we're dead because Head Smash Tyrantrum in the back. And the Z move is used, and that kills the Landorus, and Antkiller is able to defeat Juvenile 2-0. That's very scary. Can Bento beat Timberwolfie 2-0 to remove Juvenile from the playoffs? Let's find out. This is the last match that we have to watch. Bento versus Timberwolfie. Here we go. So we start with Young Crabhammer versus Blastoise. Blastoise instantly goes for the Shell Smash with the White Herb. No White Herb. Instead, what? Life Orb? Why would we do that? We blundered our whole Blastoise. It's okay though. Nidoking's got Earth Power, and somehow this Empoleon lives at exactly 1% HP. And now we're going to go for Surf, predicting, I guess, Rotom Heat on the switch. Now we go for Sludge Wave, trying to pick up the kill on Wormdad. Realistically, though, this whole time we could have just been, clicking Sludge Wave. Because Sludge Wave, I believe, 2-hit KOs the Rotom when it comes in anyway. Crabhammer comes back in to use Aqua Jet, and now we have an Aromatisse. Aromatisse does not take that very well. Does not take the Aqua Jet very well, but luckily we do have Protect. And maybe after a Protect, Oh, wait, we don't have leftovers. We're Rocky Helmet. And instead of surviving a couple of those Aqua Jets, instead we die. And now we need to go into our Aggron Mega, which is probably the Pokemon we should have gone into in the first place. Assuming that this thing has Body Press, Overheat's going to come in, kill this easily. Now, if I am Bento, how do I win this game? Well, this has 1,000 Arrows, and 1,000 Arrows is an excellent move. But we also have Dragon Dance, right? And after a Dragon Dance, 1,000 Arrows does quite a bit. Dazzling Gleam doesn't kill us back. We're going to get off another 1,000 Arrows here. Okay, we've broken through the Scream Tail, and we have 2 more attacks to work with. We go for Outrage, as there is no more Fairy, which is very, very good. And another Outrage is going to probably kill this. It does, and now it just comes down to, does Alakazam win one-on-one versus this Como? And the answer is Dazzling Gleam. So, game 1 goes to Bento. All Bento needs to do is win this next match, and he makes the playoffs over Juvenileship. That's insane, isn't it? Let's see what happens. Alright, so this time Timba leads with Como, and instantly goes for the Clangorous Soul, as Bento is in with Big Boy, the large Marge, and uses Heavy Slam. Even with the +1, that does very little, and we just go for another Heavy Slam, because Como used Boom Burst, which is not the thing you want to click, I don't think. I think you wanted to click maybe a Fighting type move against the Steel type. So Timba blunders the lead instantly, and Bento's got momentum here. 1,000 Arrows is very good. Scald, if it burns us, is really rough, but that's okay, because we only have 1 more attack with this thing anyway, essentially. We're going to go for probably another 1,000 Arrows, trying to pick up the kill on the Empoleon, as Tangrowth is going to come in, eat that like a feast, and Bento goes into Blastoise, and clicks Shell Smash in front of a Pokemon with Power Whip. And loses the Blastoise for free again. Nice! Very good job, Bento. You have managed to blunder the entire game twice. Now, at this point, Nidoking's going to come in, not kill with Sludge Wave, and get Earthquaked for your troubles, but you're going to predict the incoming Empoleon with an Earth Power, pick up the kill. Aqua Jet's going to kill, but Timba also over-predicts, and at this point, both of you are throwing so hard that, like, either one of you could win. Like, Timba goes for a Crab Hammer instead of Aqua Jet just killing the Nidoking. Like, why does it matter if you go for Crab Hammer there? What are you trying to hit? The Aggron? I guess. Sure, but you have a whole Rotom Heat in the back. It didn't matter, though. We're going to have a couple of switches around. In comes the Alakazam, which is going to survive Overheat, but a second one would kill. Alakazam now goes for Shadow Ball into this, or Psychic into the Scream Tail, and now you're going for Shadow Ball. Why did you go for Psychic the first turn? How much HP does this Rotom have? I suppose it matters, but like, your Nidoking has to beat that anyway. But it's okay. Heavy Slam, and all you need to do is survive Overheat. And you don't. We know that this didn't survive Overheat, but at half special attack, maybe Nidoking does? No. And Bento does not take Juvenile out of the playoffs. But, you know, it would still be good for Bento if he won Game 3 at the very least. So let's see if he's able to pull that off. At this point, this is just a matter of pride for Bento. Bento instantly goes into the Zydog on the Rotom Heat, which is a good play. We're going to get up a Dragon Dance probably, and if we have Extreme Speed, we can pick up the kill on this. Oh, it didn't kill. Oh my gosh, Crawdon's way bulkier than I thought, but it's okay, because the second Extreme Speed will pick up the kill. We go for it again, because we don't want to die to Aqua Jet. And Empoleon comes in, and we go for Outrage on Empoleon, which is the only move that was an active throw. Especially as Empoleon goes for Stealth Rocks. Why didn't you just click 1,000 Arrows? So now Blastoise is going to come in and click Shell Smash and get Toxic Poisoned. And Bento is very, very good at getting this thing killed for free, essentially. All Timba needs to do is survive the wrath of this Blastoise, and everything will be fine. We go for Protect, it goes for Hydro Pump. We're going to stall out some Toxic turns. We're going to switch into Tangrowth as it goes for Ice Beam. Huge prediction by Bento, and the Ice Beam crit probably would... it's hard to say if that would have killed if it didn't crit, but it's okay, because now we have Crawdaunt coming in, finishing that off with Aqua Jet, and at this point, we need to not blunder our Crawdaunt to Wish Protect, but instead we are going to continue to click Aqua Jet instead of, you know, switching on the obvious Protect click. And yeah, at this point, now you go into Screamtail, and Screamtail can use the move Encore. But it is protected by Aroma Veil, so now you've blundered your Screamtail because it is toxic poisoned. And this is looking pretty much over. Bento should get this. He should be able to convert this because there's toxic poison on the two bulky Pokemon, and the only thing that Timba really has going for him is maybe getting off a Clangorous Soul with the Como, but the issue is that the Pokemon in is ×4 super effective against Como, so probably will not be able to perform the Clangorous Soul without just dying. So now Timba's going to switch around, and yeah, he just has no answers to this thing. Timba has no answers left. There are no answers. Timba has no moves that beat this. Crawdaunt's going to come in, click Crab Hammer, and that one-shots. Okay, so I'm going to be real. I didn't think Crab Hammer would just outright one-shot, but it's okay because Alakazam says it doesn't matter. It's fine. And this Rotom is toxic poisoned and has to click Overheat to have a chance. And yeah, no, it's just too much. At this point, Bento can switch in to Nidoking or literally anything else, and Toxic Poison will do the work for him. At this point, Bento is able to clean up the match 2-1 and not make the playoffs over Juvenile. But wait! Here's the thing. I have been extremely busy lately, everybody. Here are the standings. Here are the ending standings of the regular season. I have been extremely busy, everybody, and the past couple of weeks have been really, really rough for me. I recently started the Cupid's Misfortune Cup, which is the Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel equivalent of the Cupid League, and between running that and teaching and streaming and just all of the other life, you know, projects that have been coming to a head for me, I don't have time to play in the playoffs. So, despite the fact that I am first place at the end of the regular season, I am going to be dropping from the league. So after myself and Crystal Wolf drop from the league, our standings are as follows. First place is Kitsune Noble, second is Antkiller, third is Plasma, fourth is Timba, fifth is Fabled, sixth is Mr. Titan T, seventh is Juvenile, and eighth is Bento. Ninth is Wisty, 10th is Calrook, 11th is Zexel, and 12th is Kiwi. So as a result of my drop, congratulations Kitsune on first place in the regular season. Now let's observe our playoff pairings, shall we? So week 1 of the playoffs, it is top 8. Remember, it is top 8. So we have our first seed versus our 8th seed. Bento Box, who snuck in because I dropped, versus Kitsune, who really has only lost to, like, me, Plasma, and, like, a couple of games to somebody else, I believe. It may have been a match to somebody else, I don't remember. We have Antkiller versus Juvenile, which is a rematch of the match that we just had this last week. Presumably with new prep, because Juvenile did kind of get thrashed in the week 13 match, so let's see if playoffs goes any difference. We have Plasma versus Mr. Titan T. Should be an excellent match. You know, those two are strong contenders, you know, for both seasons of the league. I don't believe that Mr. Titan T made the playoffs in season 1, if I remember correctly. I don't remember how that all went, but yeah, this should be good. And also Plasma, a finalist from last season, not to be slept on. And we have Timba versus Fabled. Fabled, who is also really struggling with being busy. There is a non-zero chance that Fabled will end up giving the forfeit to Timba. So, yeah, that concludes the Cupid Cupid League Week 13 coverage. Now, I wanted to do a thing where I go over the teams and all that stuff, but due to poor preparation on my part, I'm just not going to be able to, I'm not going to be able to go through and, you know, cover where everyone's team started and where they all ended up. I'm very sorry. I'm just not going to be able to do that. But I hope you all enjoyed the Week 13 recap, and I will see you all after the playoff matches are played. And it should be a very fun playoffs. You know, there's no clear favorite, so I think it'll be good. I think it'll be good. I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time. Later.